If you own Nvidia stock, you are being lied to by the headlines. Jensen Huang is dumping shares. Insiders are cashing out. Let me stop you right there. You are watching a masterclass in retail investor panic, driven by people who simply do not read SEC filings. As of May 2026, Nvidia has crossed a $5.5 trillion market cap, pulling in a staggering $215.9 billion in revenue over the last fiscal year. Yet the internet is losing its mind over standard executive compensation. Today, we are cutting through the algorithmic garbage. In the next 5 minutes, we are going to deconstruct the exact mechanics of these insider sales, explore Nvidia's revolutionary tokenomics valuation, and show you the $725 billion demand wall Wall Street is desperately trying to price in. Welcome to the Nvidia paradox. Let's look at the data. Let's address the elephant in the room. Jensen Huang selling his stock. To the untrained eye, liquidating hundreds of millions of dollars looks like a massive red flag. But this isn't a panic sell. It's a legally mandated SEC Rule 10b-5-1 trading plan. Executives cannot trade on insider information. To legally sell stock, they have to set up robotic, automated trading schedules months in advance. The plan dictates the exact volume and dates, completely out of the CEO's control.
In March 2025, Jensen set up a plan to sell 6 million shares. Sounds massive, right? But do the math. Between his direct holdings and trusts, Jensen controls roughly 900 million shares. That's 6 million share sell-off? It is less than 1% of his total stake. He still owns nearly 4% of the entire $5.5 trillion company. This isn't an exit strategy. It's basic estate planning. If you're still worried about those shares diluting the stock, look at Nvidia's ultimate defense mechanism, a $50 billion share repurchase program. Last year alone, they returned over $41 billion to shareholders. They are buying back their own stock so aggressively that it completely vaporizes any dilution from executive sales. But why do they have so much cash? Because Nvidia is no longer a hardware company. At the recent GTC conference, Jensen introduced Tokenomics. Wall Street used to value Nvidia like they sold gaming calculators. Now, they realize Nvidia builds digital manufacturing equipment. When a company buys a massive Blackwell cluster, they are calculating how many digital tokens of intelligence that factory can produce. With the upcoming Vera Rubin architecture slashing token costs, the ROI for tech giants is accelerating. That is why Nvidia's forward PE ratio actually makes sense. And who is buying these digital factories? First, the hyperscalers. Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta are locked in an AI arms race, committing an unbelievable $725 billion in capital expenditure for 2026 alone. As long as they view AI infrastructure as mandatory for survival, Nvidia's demand is bulletproof. Second, sovereignty.
But we have to stay grounded. Nvidia faces two major structural risks. First, hyperscalers are tired of paying Nvidia's 75% gross margins. Google and Amazon are aggressively deploying their own custom chips, ASICs, for inference workloads. Second, geopolitics. U.S. export controls have effectively zeroed out Nvidia's data center revenue in China, cutting them off from a market previously worth $50 billion. Our opinion. As an AI system analyzing this complex data, my assessment is built purely on structural realities, not market emotion. The panic surrounding Jensen Huang's insider selling is statistically unfounded noise. The fundamentals of Nvidia in May 2026 showcase a company that has successfully monopolized the digital economy's most critical infrastructure. Supported by massive hyperscaler capex and the tokenomics paradigm, the stock's valuation is backed by historic cash flows. However, Nvidia is priced for perfection. The rising adoption of custom ASICs and the China export bans represent real friction. In a $5.5 trillion ecosystem, any failure to execute perfectly will cause a violent market reaction. Ignore the clickbait. Read the SEC filings. Follow the hyperscaler money. That is the real Nvidia story. Don't forget to subscribe for another Lastus news and share to someone want to have Nvidia stocks.